Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining. Today we have something a little different, which I'm really excited about. I did a whole turkey dinner this weekend for my family. It was my husband's birthday, my son's birthday, and a late Easter because my mom was really sick on Easter, and you only get turkey a couple times a year, so we can't miss out now, can we? Please remember to subscribe and leave a comment if you like it, or if there's something else we could be doing. Just please, it really helps the channel grow. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So in the back here, you're going to see my video, and I'm just going to talk about how I did each stage over the day. It's a whole process, so please watch right to the end, okay? All right. All right, so the night before I roasted, I think it was 7 or 8 heads of garlic in my air fryer. Just olive oil, salt, pepper, air fryer it was on 350 for about an hour and 20 minutes. So here I'm just squishing it all into a nice big bowl. Um, yeah, it comes out super easy because it's nice and roasted. You want to make sure it's really roasted though. You will make sure it's really soft. So then I take a fork and I mash the bejesus out of it because I want it to be nice, kind of smooth. There can be chunkies, but I like it to be pretty smooth, to really incorporate into the butter. Oh, also I pull the butter out ahead of time. So it really helps. You can really mix it in quite a bit better. So I just mash, mash, mash. Okay, so it's all nice and mashed. So then I have my butter here. I used the rest of what was in here, and then I also used, I started a new one. I don't use real butter. I'm not fancy or Rockefeller. I've used this Becel which actually you don't even really need to pull out. It's already pretty smooth. I still just like to do it, just helps more. I do this at the beginning of every single month when I grocery shop. Well, actually, it's the end of the month is when I grocery shop. That's our beginning. I buy a huge thing of garlic, 2 big things of butter, and I make this for the whole month. And use it for everything too. Garlic bread. Just any really thing you'll see in this video. I use it for almost everything. Thanks to my mom, she grows this huge bush of chives, so she got that for us because even chives for a little bundle were like $4 freaking. That's absurd. And yes, I'm using scissors because it's just easier to get that nice fine chop. Another tip, don't mix your green onions, or usually people use parsley, but I don't like parsley, so I like chives. But don't mix them in when you're whipping up the butter and the garlic, because it'll smash up the chives and you just get this, it'll turn green and it'll be really intense and it's just not as good. So once I'm done whipping it all, then I like to add my chives or parsley, whatever you prefer. No one in my family likes parsley, so we just stick with what we like. So yeah, nice fine. Obviously you can use a knife, that doesn't really matter. I just find it really easy to use the scissors. Actually, I use the scissors the other part too in this video. And obviously no measurements like you've seen if you've watched my other videos. I don't measure anything. I've been cooking for so long. It's all how it looks, what I know I like. I've made this so many times. This one's a bigger batch than I do normally make. I think I would probably go with like 4 heads of garlic but because I was doing a big turkey dinner, I wanted to make sure I had enough, plus some left over for the rest of the month. So you just mix that to combined. Um, nothing too crazy. And there we go, all done. So I had washed the turkey ahead of time, just rinsed it off. I pulled the neck and the giblets out from inside. And you'll see I put it in a pot to start a stock with the neck and the giblets. That's how I make my gravy at the end. It cooks all day long while it cooks all day long while the turkey's cooking. And I don't stuff my turkey with stuffing. So you'll see that too. Because I like stuffing a lot. So I put it in the slow cooker to cook all day long. So here I'm patting it dry because we want to be able to lather it with the nice garlic butter and it won't lather on there if it's wet. So had it dry with some paper towel. And I put a nice big scoop right in the center just to, flavor it up in there. And then I just go to town. Tuck the legs back in because I when I rinsed it out, I had to pull out the neck and stuff inside. Don't forget that part because it makes a really good stock for like just a simple one for, yeah. So we just coat that all over nice and generous. Okay, and then I did salt and pepper. It's super simple. I don't do too much to the turkey, honestly. That garlic butter really makes it. So you really don't need much, in my opinion. But really, you can put anything, poultry seasoning on there, more garlic, seasoning, salt, whatever you really like. And then I make sure it's nice and sealed. I actually have two roasting pans there together because it just makes it. But if you can tuck the tin foil in between the two and it really seals it in. You want it for the first few hours to really like get nice and juicy in there. At the end, the last couple hours, I will take the tin foil off and then baste it to get that nice golden crust. But it really helps keeps it moist. And this isn't a really big turkey. We never really go with the biggest turkey we can find. There's so many other toppings or sides that you eat with it. You don't need that, Excuse my disheveled look there. Yeah. So here's my stock. I pulled the neck and the giblets in there. I put them in there. And then I just season it. Salt, pepper, garlic. And you'll notice through the whole video, and if you've watched my other videos, I like to season. I don't want to have to season my food while I'm eating it. I want it to already be good to go. So then, yeah, I just did onions, carrots, celery, and just a little stock. And that's what with some of the turkey juices, obviously, too, because this is going to cook down to make a nice concentrate. I'll pour the juices in, but it just makes it just something a little extra because I do use packet gravy, like the powdered packet. You'll see that too, obviously, but because I just like that too, but I just like to add a little, pizzazz. And I just have that on low and I leave it on the back and just let that cook slowly all day while the turkey's cooking. You don't have to worry about peeling anything because it's just like any ordinary stock. You just throw it in and it goes. Okay, so here, normally we would buy like a little sausage, like it's like a little pack of like our tube sausage, but everything's just so expensive. And I already had these at home. So just use what you have. My recipes are never the same. I always just go with what I have. Here you see I'm cutting with the scissors because that's easier. We're going to fry the living crap out of these. Remember, brown is flavor. It looks so silly cutting with scissors, but it's easier with these because the little casing on them is too hard to pull off like other big sausages. So, and then I just like mash them up and break them up into little pieces. And it does the same thing as the tube, and it's so much cheaper. We like a bang for our buck. So I just keep smashing and smashing and frying. And the night before, I had pre-chopped, because you won't see it in this video, I pre-cut up onions, celery, and bell peppers. A lot of people I know use carrots, but I like the bell pepper. That's a little sweetness to go with everything. So to each your own, but this is just how I've always done my stuffing. And I do use a box too. I just like to zhuzh it up because I find homemade, like straight homemade, I don't really like that. So I haven't found one personally that I really like that I would want to remake. So I just make my own, like this way. So I use stovetop, which is the turkey, and I pour for this time I use 3 boxes, and I just pour it in my slow cooker. Just follow the directions at the back. You just add the amount of water, and then once everything is fried up, I pour it all together. As the turkey is cooking, I will sometimes take the juice out of that and pour it in if you think the stuffing is too dry. This time I didn't need to. It all worked out really well. Came out really good. I honestly don't even care about mashed potatoes. I just like the stuffing. So I always make a little extra. Because, turkey sandwiches after, which we really didn't have much turkey left over, I was surprised, but it was just that good. So here, yeah, I just added all my pre-chopped vegetables, my celery, onion, and bell peppers. I also had a lot of extra bell peppers I've been getting, so I wanted to use those up, and I just think it really, really works in stuffing. It's so tasty. So again, just fry it all up, and then I season too with salt and pepper. I'm a seasoning queen. I love to season. I added a good nice spoonful of my roasted garlic butter. Whenever you can add a little extra flavor in, you really should. It really makes a difference. And because now that the sausage is actually fried up and cooked, you're not looking to really cook the vegetables all the way through. Just kind of soften them, give them a good start. And I do all this first thing in the morning, and then I just put my slow cooker on. I put it on low for a little bit, and then once it's looks like it's almost done, I'll just put it on keep warm, and it'll just sit. Here we go. So I'm just going to add all of this together. Give it a really good mix, and just set it and forget it. I find it simple, and again, you get more than what you put inside your turkey. I like stuffing too much, so. Okay, so obviously you've seen I have changed again because I had a shower after that. You'll see multiple changings in this of my clothes. Okay, so we're gonna start a cheese sauce because who doesn't love cheese sauce? So I've got just a nice big spoonful of my roasted garlic butter. Again, I don't measure, it's all eye for me. I've done cheese sauce so many freaking times in my life. I I can't even count. So a nice big spoonful of that, and when it's melted, we're gonna make a roux. Okay, so let that melt up, and then yum, fiddle farting with the camera. This is our our first trial of doing it with our new camera and everything, and we really wanted to try it a different way because with my other video, if you want to go watch, was my Shein haul, and it came out so good. I love just being able to try things on and then talk about it. Here I just get to like enjoy my cooking process because I love to cook so much, and then I can talk about it after and sit here and really describe, because some people don't know how to cook, and it's actually really simple, but like doing turkey dinner, it can seem overwhelming, but it really isn't. You just have I do everything in order, and so yeah, here I'm. Once it's melted, I'm going to add the flour, and you want it to just be like enough like flour to butter ratio, so it's kind of equal, but I just go by eye. Once I pour some in and mix it up, if it looks like it's dry enough, then it's for me good. And then cook it for. Never walk away when you're making a roux. Always stay there and watch. Cook it for like a minute or two to get that really raw flour taste out. You don't want that like raw. It's just not as good. So yeah, just cook it down and then slowly add it. Again, you should pull your milk out ahead of time, but I don't do that. That's something they say that helps if it clumps, but you just pour in your milk slowly at a time and whisk, and just whisk, whisk, whisk. Don't stop whisking, especially at the very beginning. And you'll get a beautiful, smooth cream sauce. There's just the basic the beginning of a cheese sauce. And you can always add more, but you can't take away. So always remember that. Start off, because I don't do measurements. Like obviously you could go online and find a recipe, super simple. But so yeah, I'll add some milk, and then as it starts to thicken, if I think it's getting too thick, I'll just add more milk. Right? I don't. And sometimes honestly I even use almond milk. I know that sounds crazy, but I just happen to actually have milk on hand. We don't always We always buy almond milk, but I was making sure that there was no roux stuck in like the super edges of um the pot because sometimes it likes to get stuck in there and then it'll form clumps later on. You want it to be nice and smooth. And again, season. S&P, salt and pepper. And it doesn't take long to thicken up. While I'm waiting, I grate all my cheese. I just have old cheddar cheese here. That's just what we always have. We buy it from Costco, nice big brick, and I just cut a section off. And if I need more later, I can grate up more. This time I had mozzarella, which I added a nice, generous amount of mozzarella too, just for the extra stringiness. Came out really good. I like my cheese sauce to be super cheesy. I want it like you want to know it's just liquid cheese. And don't grate your fingers off. I've done that. I've literally grated my thumbnails clean off one time. Not fun. Okay, so it's thickened up. Now I'll get, I like to use, once I'm done with the whisk, go with a wooden spoon or a spatula. You always want to, when you add the cheese, it's kind of like an 8 motion. It helps it incorporate because if you add too much cheese at once, it'll just not melt. It'll just congeal together. It's really weird. Oh, and I clean up constantly as I'm going. I have a pretty small kitchen and not a lot of counter space, so good tip, always just be cleaning each stage of the way. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a couple handfuls at a time. And just kind of, I could just go back and forth, try to get it all incorporated and melty. I think too, I actually even grated up more cheese after. So I did use quite a bit of cheese, but I did make a lot of cheese sauce because it was for, I was feeding 8 people, no, 7 people. So, and it's always good to have extra, right? Okay, it's come together really nice and thick, super cheesy. And you can use any cheese you like too. We just always have our old cheddar and our mozzarella. Always. Oh, I even used Parmesan, I think, this time, just for an extra little kick. I don't always, but I think this time I did. What a beautiful, it's a beautiful golden orange. So I added more Parmesan, or I added Parmesan cheese because it gives it that nice salty, just a little extra deliciousness. And then I did a good taste test. Got to make sure the seasoning is spot on. I really hate having to season my food after. It really drives me nuts. Oh, I do always add extra pepper though because I love pepper. And nobody likes the same amount of pepper as me, so. Okay, so then I just poured it in. I keep all my ice cream buckets because they're good for everything, but I just poured it in a container to put onto the side and just let that be because I just heat it right back up in the microwave after when it's dinner time because I'm going to use that pot for my potatoes after and stuff like that. So, and here I was changed again. I went and picked up my son early because it was his birthday. So I was in my third outfit of the day. So now we're doing our first check. This was about 1 o'clock. I put the turkey in at it was just about 10. So it's got a good cook already to it, and now we're just gonna start basting. It's all that turkey juice, all that tasty garlic roasted garlic butter. The house smelled so freaking good already. And I don't have a baster. I just use a spoon. Every time I buy those squishy basters, they always ruin. So I just don't even bother anymore. So just baste. And then when it goes back in, then I baste it a few more times every, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes or so. Just pour it over and yeah, it really makes a nice crust and gives some extra flavor. Okay, so I'm peeling my carrots because I love making, it's kind of like candy carrots, but not really. It's like just like a brown sugar with my garlic butter. So I just peeled up a whole bunch of carrots and then I peeled up a whole bunch of potatoes and started to boil them. It took the potatoes a lot longer to boil, obviously, because it was a huge pot and, they're potatoes. So I did that, got those started. Does anyone else find watching people peel and chop satisfying? Because I really freaking do. Let me know in the comments if you guys like that or if I should skip that part out or because I all my cooking is a lot of homemade stuff and I chop a lot, but I find it so freaking soothing. So let me know in the comments below. Oh my god, is that a fourth outfit? So after I picked up the boy from school, obviously I changed and put a dress back on. So that was my fourth outfit that I wore. Actually, I think I kept this one on from when the family came. Because by that time I was pretty tired. It was a long day, so I had to hit my daughter to school and then my son, and he didn't want to go, and it was just a whole big thing. But we picked him up early, so I'm pretty fast at peeling potatoes because my very first job I worked, I was like the sous chef dishwasher, and we get these massive box of potatoes, and I would time myself to see if I could go faster. So it's like, oh, and this, yeah, sorry about this. A couple of the potatoes had really bad spots, so I just picked them out. But yeah, I would just like haul ass, and I could peel potatoes really, really fast too. I just think it looks so cool to watch. It's so weird watching yourself doing something. I find that weird. Is anybody else who does YouTube? So yeah, I peeled up again, no measurements. I just did what I thought our family would eat, and I always have leftovers because I really bad with that guesstimations or whatever. I'd rather have too much food than not enough. I hate not having enough. So yeah, I cut the carrots just in little rounds. I try to do them all pretty much the same thickness and whatnot, but that's obviously hard just because it cooks. You want them to all kind of cook the same, right? Same with the potatoes. When you cut them, you want them to kind of be the same, or they won't cook the same. You want them to all be at because then some will turn to mush, some will be too hard. It's yeah. And don't come for my chopping skills. I know I worked in kitchens a long time. I don't know if I've talked about that before, but I don't care how I'm cutting, okay? I very rarely have ever cut myself. I burned myself more than I cut myself. So I know I'm not holding the knife or my fingers the right way, but don't worry about me. Worry about your own chopping skills. Want everything to cook the same amount of time. That way you don't have too many hard chunks in your potatoes. Mashed potatoes. So I've got my big pot here that I cleaned out. Obviously, I don't have that many pots, so I like to wash one and then, keep going. Okay, so my carrots had steamed, boiled, whatever you want to call it. I don't fill it up full of water, so they half boil, half steam. And they're not fully cooked. You want them to be like just fork tender, because now I'm going to add a buttload of my roasted garlic butter, stir that up, and then my brown sugar. I like to add brown sugar, but I accidentally left it out. The Ziploc wasn't sealed all the way, so it's a little hard. So you'll see it's going to there'll be clumps, but it's all going to melt down anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's like it sucks for if I need to bake because now it's hard to measure, but oh, and then I added just a little bit of regular butter because I wasn't sure if it would be too much roasted garlic, like flavor. I wanted to be able to like have the sweetness with the carrot. And sometimes my family is really weird and don't like things to be super flavored. I have to like keep my mashed potatoes super like bare minimal because they complain if they're too have too much flavor in them. So yeah, here's my brown sugar. It's all clumpy, but I just add it and kind of smash up some pieces the best I can, and it just melts anyways. It's all good. I always forget to really make sure your brown sugar is sealed or like in a good plastic bag or a sealable container because it will go rock freaking hard. So just mix, mix, and then season. And I just let those simmer away. And they kind of get like thick, and like the brown sugar gets nice and thick and sweet and delicious. Delicioso. Oh, and obviously I added more garlic butter because I can tell just by how it looks for me, just because I do this, like I make these carrots all the time. I just know what it should look like to me. I don't even really need to taste them. I just know what we're working with already. So yeah, just turn that to low and just let them hang out together. They're already basically cooked, so oh, and here's the turkey, nice and golden. I had basted it a few more times. Looks so good. I want turkey again. My stock was, so you can see how the stock was super, like it condensed more, so it's got lots of good flavor. The neck bone and giblets really give off a lot of good flavor if you use them. At this point, it was basically done too because it is a smaller turkey, and I put it in at 10. And gosh, this is probably 2, 3 maybe. So I turned the oven right down. I think it was even at maybe 250 at the lowest it'll go, and just let it sit in there. There's my stuffing. It's all come together. It really doesn't take long in the slow cooker for your stuffing to come together. I wish we had smell-o-vision. Just keep basting it like it's a baby in a bath. See the little pieces of roasted garlic. Everyone said at a turkey dinner that it was really, really good. And sometimes I don't even get that from my brother. So that for me was a big win. Everything came out really good this time. I think I was really focused. Normally I'm just like, oh, whatever. But because I was filming, it really like I was like in the game. Like I was like, it was great. Everything came out, everything was timed right, smooth, I had everything cleaned up. Yeah, it was freaking awesome. Okay, so my potatoes are boiled. And there's the carrots going. I think I turned the carrots down too and almost turned them off at the very end because they started to get pretty mushy. Okay, so I'm straining my stock from my neck bones. Because we're gonna start my gravy. I'll take the juices from my turkey. Just give that a good shake. You want all the deliciousness from that. And pour it back in. See how pretty it is? You can tell it's even just that alone you could just use. You don't even need to use the turkey juices if you don't want to. Okay, so we have the best part coming up here. So I'm gonna attempt to pour the turkey juices in and almost set the freaking house on fire. It literally it literally combusted because obviously it was just butter and turkey juice. Yeah, it's on fire. It really really scared me, to be honest. If my husband wasn't there standing with me, I probably would have like started screaming for help. I had to turn everything off and move the potatoes somewhere else because I got little trays in there and it just filled up with oil and wouldn't stop just igniting. Okay, so yeah, see, I use just packet gravy, but I have all the stock and stuff, so you would think it's homemade. It's half homemade, okay? You just can't get that same flavor like with just homemade stock or homemade gravy without these, I swear. It's the same with the stuffing. I love cooking homemade. I make almost everything homemade, but those are my little few things that I can't go without. The only thing is, I wish that I made the gravy a little thicker. I like my gravy to be thick, and I don't think I measured right because one packet of the gravy is 1 cup of liquid, so I think I was off by one because it was still, even after cooking down again, it still was a little runny, super tasty, but I like it to be thick, thick. Okay, so I'm mashing the life out of my potatoes here. Always mash first before you add anything else. I give them a good 1, 2. And again, they're pretty basic. Like I just probably even not as basic as some people even still do. Because I do sour cream, milk, butter, and then salt and pepper. If I add anything else, then my family doesn't really like them. And they tried a few times to bring their own mashed potatoes. And we don't do that here. I'm the cook. So yeah, this is, I think, just 3% milk, which is really good. We don't normally ever have that. And then a nice big dollop of sour cream. Love sour cream on my mashed potatoes. I will not stop doing that. I don't care what anyone says. And then, of course, butter. I didn't want to add the roasted because I was using the roasted garlic butter and everything else. So I thought I'd just keep those basic. Again, no measurements. It's all how it looks to me and feels. Always remember, though, you can always add more. You can't take away. A couple times I've added way too much like butter and milk, and then it turns to soup, and that's not fun. And if that ever happens, if you have instant mashed potatoes, just add that right in there. It really does, it'll thicken it right back up again. Or cheese, right? Like just grated cheese or Parmesan cheese, it'll help thicken it right back up if that does happen. Again, salt, pepper, a little S&P. We'll always season. I always add extra pepper on my plate. I love pepper. And I really like to have most of like the bulk work of the stuff done. So like at any time I'm cooking for friends or family, I really like to have a lot of stuff already done. So when they show up, I can sit and chat and then just let things heat up again, kind of. I really like to enjoy having people over. So, and there's the gravy. It was slowly thickening up. And I thought it was going to continue to thicken, but I don't think it got much thicker, which I was bummed about. But the flavor was, I'm telling you, never throw that neck away. Okay, so yeah, I was just heating up the carrots and stuff again. Oh, and yeah, obviously for the cheese sauce, we did just a simple steamed broccoli. I'm like obsessed with broccoli and cheese sauce. Everyone else in my family likes it too, except for my kids. My daughter used to. Okay, don't come for me on my chopping or my knife skills for this. I think I overthought things and was panicking, and once it started going, normally I'm way better at carving the turkey, but it just okay, whatever. You're gonna put it in your mouth and eat it anyways. But yeah. So take the leg off. Always keep a leg for my daughter. She'd probably eat both of the legs. She's a huge meat eater, like me too, and dark meat, anything on the bone. So I always pull the 2 legs off and set them to the side. And then I just carve up the breasts. Everyone else in my family likes the breasts, so there's only well, actually no. My brother he really likes the dark meat too, but it just depends. But yeah, I'll leave everything in the pan too. I don't want to make extra dishes. So when I'm carving, I usually probably was the knife I was using too, now that I'm looking and thinking about it. But yeah, I'll slice the breast right off there. And then just I like to just slice it right there and people can just pull bits off if they want. It just started going wrong and then I panicked and kind of and it just was like whatever, I didn't even care. It still was freaking good. I really want turkey now though. So yeah, you could see it started. It was still moist. I don't care what people say. It just was my own knife skills. Oh, and I saved the wings too. I just love chicken wings, which if you haven't seen my fat burger video, please go check that out. I love chicken wings. Any wing, really. Oh yeah, I tried to pull it off there. I know it's a hot mess. Fine, come for me, but honestly doesn't matter. It was just so good anyways. it was a nice sized turkey for us. We got to have turkey sandwiches after, like the next day and everything. So we did get a good amount out of it. So and then I've got my broccoli steaming here. This is the very last thing I do. I don't even like to have that like sitting. That's the one thing I'll make right at the very end because I like it to have a little bit of a crunch to it, not just be mush. Okay, so there it is, all together. Nice big plate. It was so good and one of my favorite things to eat and make. So I really hope you like this video. Tell us how you like this, the way we set this up. Like, is this a fun way and I can give, a little bit of tips and tricks here and there, or yeah, just let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, please. It really, really helps the channel. We are slowly growing and I'm so appreciative of that. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and leave a comment for next time.